explain that game from your perspective? Because in the opening 20 minutes, it looked that you were so dominant and a couple of chances went begging. It looked to be almost game over, and then it turned around.
Unfortunately, I can't explain that. I think, we probably controlled the ball a little bit better in first 15, 20 minutes. We created better chances. But then, for some strange reason, I think we were overconfident, and there were too many flicks, too many things that maybe was not the right moment to try. And then the game just became transitional. So then there was a fast transition from Adelaide, then we won the ball, then was a fast transition from us. And, in that game, you never know who's going to win and who's going to use those transitional moments. But the problem is that we had a lot of players that are, not 100%, and they need to be a little bit looked after from the game management point of view, and we failed in that. So we had to take them off, unfortunately, because they were just cooked, and that is probably the main reason why we failed at the end.
You had this incredible pressing game. You were nice and tight, and then perhaps after that incident where Reyes and Hiroshi clash their heads, and then it completely turned. The discipline seemed to disappear. Did they lose focus, do you think, after that through their team?
I don't know. I need to talk to them and see what was the reason. But, even through that transition game, as I said, anyone can score a goal. We've got weapons in transition game as well. But, we copped first 2 goals from set pieces, and that is something that, we did not expect. We worked on it, but we just poorly marked their opponents in the second phase, and I think that is something that we obviously have to improve.
In the first 20 minutes, obviously talking about how dominant you were and creating a lot of chances, it just seemed you had an extra man always in the middle with just so much space for you. Was that an area of focus going into the game, really winning that midfield battle?
Look, when someone is pressing with 2 and we've got 3 midfielders, one of our midfielders will be free all the time. And, we managed to find a free player, and, we controlled the game from that point of view. But obviously, second half, as I said, we just started to give the ball away, started to take some unnecessary risks. We were not clean in our passing, in our controlling. And that's just ABC of football, I think that's where we failed, in those moments where we should have kept the ball a little bit better. And definitely for a longer period of time, so because what happens is, if our attack lasts only 5 seconds, their front 3 or front 4 are still walking back, and if we lose, they're ready to go transition. And this is what players didn't understand, that we need to wait for them to come back, and then we can control the game through rest defense. But unfortunately, we just didn't do that. There was a lack of numbers in their back line, and we just thought we were going to go through it, and unfortunately, sometimes we made just too many mistakes.
Was this the case as well when you got the second goal, because there was probably a good 10 minutes after that where you did have a good period? Is this what you're talking about, that particular time, taking the wrong risks or taking unnecessary risks? Was that moment in the match as well?
Yeah. So every time, you kind of want to expose their weakness, opponent's weaknesses. And, if you can create 2v1 situation in wide area, so that's the weakness. So, can we penetrate down that side, and then can we do something? So now all of Adelaide players are facing their own goal. And, if they can clear it, it will go for the corner. So you are still in your attacking third. But for some strange reason, we start coming inside, and then we start some flicks. And it's not like we don't practice, coming inside, but it was just like wrong options at the wrong time, and we gave the ball away.
Rado, what is it about Adelaide? This precedes your time in the men's setup, but last season, only time City beats Adelaide's in extra time. This season, the loss and the draw. City has been one of the more dominant sides the last couple of years. Why do you think your side always seems to struggle against Adelaide?
Look, I can't talk in past, but last two games, if you look back at Melbourne, we gifted them 2 goals inside. I don't know. First goal was like inside first five minutes, and then we managed to control the game from 3-1. We scored 2 goals, and I think we had like 70% of possession. That was like our best game that we played. Regarding the possession, creating chances and controlling the game with attack. But this game was just got out of the hands for unnecessary reason, and they are blessed with speed, and they are very good in transition, and that's their bread and butter. So.
And just following up with that, they haven't been able to stop your side from scoring. You do score quite heavily against Adelaide, but they're one of the teams that scores heavily against you. Is it maybe, I guess you mentioned before, how they press you, how they attack you? Do they seem to be doing something differently than other sides that takes advantage maybe of your side's frailties? Look,
I mean, the quality they've got obviously are very, very good crossing. Both Halloran and Goodwin are world class when it comes to crossing, and they put you under sustained pressure, with balls into the penalty box, and not just us. They do to everyone, So I thought we controlled that part of the game, especially in the first 40-something minutes, quite well. But then, in the set pieces, that was just like we did not stay with opponents long enough, and they scored 2 goals, from set pieces and from the delivery into the penalty box. So something that we spoke about, something that we worked towards, and but again, we failed from that point of view.
And just news from New Zealand that Steven Ugarkovic won't be staying with the Wellington Phoenix, and reports have come out that maybe there's been discussions with City, and then that maybe Aidan O'Neill might be off. Do you have anything to share on that front today?
No, I can't. They're all just speculation. I mean, we are still talking to Aidan, and I don't think that he's got club at the moment. So, we would like to keep as many players as we can. But they are just speculation at the moment.
And just finally, Nesta Irakunda, special talent, again, comes on in a game against the top quality side, your side. How do you see him as a talent? What do you think his ceiling is? How has he impressed you this season?
Oh, he's been fantastic. I watched him live against Melbourne Victory last week. He came on, he scored a goal. He comes on, he scores a goal. So he's just an unbelievable talent, and I think he can go a long way, absolutely. And hopefully, with the national team's exposure, he can get a good club overseas and then progress overseas, because I think there's a very bright future in him.